I know my memories are true because they're my memories.
At the end of the day, why would I lie about it? I never just woke up and decided, hey, I need more trauma. It was never my choice, but it is now my choice to, accept it and heal.
I sued my parents and won, and that was probably the most empowering thing I did in my entire life.
So the judge believed you.
Right, the judge believed me. And the case was corroborated, so.
So how was your case corroborated?
Well, I had a sister who always remembered, and I had a father who said it's not sexual abuse if a father makes his daughter touch his penis. Well, actually it is, it's a crime.
Yeah, and he said that in a deposition.
Yeah, he did.
When I consciously remembered the abuse, I was in my 30s, but I had apparently told a friend of mine when I was 19 years old, and I had completely forgotten.
How do you know your memories are true?
I know they're true because they were given to me by God, and they kind of filled in puzzle pieces of triggers that I had in my life.
The summer that I was 5, I was raped by my dad's. He was a guy who worked. He was 18. He worked on our farm, and he was like a son to my dad, considered one of the family. So he was allowed to be around us. My mom remembers seeing blood in my underwear that night and asking me about it. And I had told her that I fell, and I was wondered, later why would I tell her I fell? And once I had my full memory, it was because he told me that I was going to bleed because I fell in an effort to get away from him.
Brenda, you're one of your traffickers who's your brother is in prison. So you got some justice. Is that what he went to prison for? Is for
Yeah.
sexual assault of you?
He got sentenced on my birthday, and he got 40 years on my birthday. He got 40 years. So that was a great birthday gift. I kept all my journals ever since I was 5 years old.
Oh,
I had it in a storage unit, and my counselor said, let's bring every journal. And my lawyer put it on the table. Boom. What is this? My evidence. Ever since I was 5 till I was 50.
Good for you.
My brother remembers my personality changing completely overnight. We were best buds. Like, we played together all the time. He was a year and a half older than me. And all I remember was he didn't want to play with me anymore. And it was really heartbreaking. But he said he didn't want to play with me anymore because my personality has changed. He's like, what happened to my sweet little sister?
What ended up happening to verify those is I would journal these, and I would even draw scenes from the films. I had the titles, the locations, and I still, didn't believe any of it when we entered the age of, internet and Facebook and so on. And this male found me. He had been searching for me ever since. He knew me by my stage name, which is what made it difficult for him to find me for quite a while, but he knew where I was from. And I happened to connect with a group from that community. We made contact for a while, and just to verify. So I did not, in talking to him, give him any information because I was at this place where I was trying to verify my own memories, and he didn't have blocked memories. What I learned from him is all the names and locations of these films that I had were correct. His stage name was correct. He was trying to work through his issues. And he hadn't really been able to move forward in life because he was stuck thinking I had been murdered and that it might have been his fault.
I knew exactly where it happened because I was babysat there for a couple years during that time frame. And then I went on kind of, knowing what I do as an advocate, I searched around to talk to people who knew me during that time to ask some important questions to. And I asked my elementary school guidance counselor to have a meeting. We talked about kind of my demeanor during that time. I was about 10 years old. I was wetting my pants when I would on the days when I would have to go to this babysitter's house.
I had some pretty classic symptoms as a child: acting out, play acting, knowledge, and like a weird interest in sex. I knew things I shouldn't have known.
Many reasons I know they're true. One of the biggest ones for me was the way I behaved around men as a teenager once I'd escaped the abuse, and through to adulthood when the memories began surfacing. Because I'd been conditioned to be very highly sexualized and appealing, I was like that, and I didn't understand why I was like that. So that was verification.
After I started to have the memories, I really doubted them. Was it something I dreamed? Was it something I made up in my head? I didn't want to believe that it was true. And I had, confided in a few people that I thought this thing had happened, but of course, not, any kind of disclosure publicly or with my family or anything. And then the strangest way it got disclosed was that my perpetrator was my half brother, and he was telling his sister as young adults, I don't know what it was in reference to, that children experiment sexually and that's normal. Katie and I did it when we were young. And my sister went, oh my God, that's sexual abuse. Like, she recognized it. And she wrote me this letter that said, I know that you've been abused. I can't tell you who, but you should go see a therapist and get help. And there was no way in my mind that she knew that. So I had no idea what she was talking about. I thought maybe there was somebody else that got me as well. And then I ended up writing him a letter directly and said, this is what I remember. Is that how it happened? And sadly, he gave more details than I wanted. And this was when I was like 16, 17 at this point when it came out in the family. And yeah, everything and then some. So I went, well, I can't pretend they were dreams anymore.
It was so vivid and so clear that I felt like it had just been sitting in a little box in a place that was stuck in my brain somewhere, and it had never been opened, and it was never touched. There was there was nothing that changed that memory. Like normal memories, over time you might forget a little bit, things happen in life. This was just pristine, and it was so clear. So I guess I knew it was true. It just was true. It was a memory. And then after I remembered, I felt like I needed corroboration, because even though I felt in my soul that this was true, I needed to know. And I was lucky that my brother was around. So I emailed him and asked him, and he corroborated it, and he even ultimately apologized. So I was very lucky to get that information and to get an apology.
At the age of 19, he was still feeling me up when he could. And there was a photo of it.
I had asked a sister of mine who my daddy also FA'd, and she's not one of Daddy's kids. She was a step kid of his. And she said that she seen my daddy coming back from Germany with a book on how to have sex with kids.
I learned early on to just check in with my body and ask my body what was my truth.
I came to a place of trusting my mind and body through the healing process. And so I think that's one of the biggest things about recovered memories is that the survivor kind of knows their mind and body.
I was also blessed to have a relative early on in my experience that was also sexually abused by the same grandfather. And that was an external validation that what I was remembering was not crazy or outside of the realm of possibility. I feel like that was another little blessing, but it certainly isn't what I looked to, nor do I still look at that to validate that my memories are true. It's a layer that's out here where I know it right here.
I wrote a book, Miss America by Day, 11 years after a newspaper reporter in Denver learned that my father had come into my room from the time I was 5 until I was 18.
Do you have corroboration?
I do. As soon as my memories came up, I was 24. One of the first things I did was to get on planes and go talk to my sisters. My eldest sister, Gwen, when she knew what I was going to say, she just turned ghost white and she said, I thought I was the only one. I never should have left you.
If people are not going to believe 53-year-old me, then who is going to believe a child?
Research shows that most recovered memories are true.